Okay, hello everyone. Victor Momo from Excel Moments, and this is me demonstrating my solution to a question I was asked recently, which is how do I stack a range upon itself, a certain number of times, more or less like repeat a range X times. So here's what I mean. You have this range here, A, D, B, C, E, F, and somebody wants to have it repeat twice. My understanding here is when I say repeat twice, meaning that the range is there first, it repeats once, it repeats twice, meaning in total we'll have three occurrences of that range. So if you change this number here to 3, it means we'll have 4 occurrences. As you can see, this is working with these two functions. Let me expand this to show you a more complex one, which is where you now have a two-dimensional range, right? And then the same thing happens there too. If you say you want to see this repeat twice, then you can see the range. The range then occurs 3 times, stacked upon itself vertically. So how do you achieve this? Let me demo this in the next tab. Okay, so let's start up with the simple one, which is where we have just a single row and we want to stack this upon itself a certain number of times. So my first idea here, really, there are more than 2 ways to solve it. Even though I'm showing 2, I can solve it in like 4 ways, and I know that there are more ways than that. You know, um, the first idea here is to more or less create a concatenated string, more or less text join with a delimiter. You create that string, you use the repeat, you repeat that string a certain number of times, then you split it again, and this time you split to rows. It's easier to understand when you see it. So let me start up with my idea. So I will use a text join. I will choose a delimiter that I believe does not occur in my data set. So maybe I use a pipe, for example. Okay, and ignore empty where I choose this, and then this is my range here. Okay, so now I have AD pipe BCEF, right? That's fine. Okay, I will then use the repeat function to repeat this a certain number of times. I will get into a little trouble, but I'll fix it. So repeat is going to take that string and then repeat it a certain number of times. The question you have to ask yourself here is, am I repeating it 3 times or am I repeating it 4 times? It has taken that string. If you say repeat 4 times, it will create 4 instances of it. Okay. So now if you say repeat 3, what is going to happen is that it's going to create 3 instances. But really, you don't need 3 instances. You need 4 because the range itself is repeating 3 times. Well, that's the explanation I want to give to it, to say that repeat is in addition to whatever you have. Okay. So if I go with that explanation, I will have to do B1 plus 1. Okay. So now you can see the range would occur 4 times. But I have a problem. At the end of my text join, I didn't have a pipe. So you see here, EF and AD, they are squashed. That's not what is supposed to be happening. It's supposed to be EF, a pipe, and AD. So what I need to do is go back to my text join. At the end of my text join, that string I have, I add a pipe to it. Okay, so that my string ends with a pipe originally. So that by the time you then repeat it, the pipe would always come up. Okay, so this at least gives you what you want, except that you have a redundant pipe at the end. But that should not be a problem. So now that you have this, you can now split based on the pipe as the delimiter. Or we won't split to columns, we'll split to rows. So we'll do a text split, okay? And then we'll skip the column delimiter argument. We go to the row argument and we use a pipe. When we use a pipe, you know, it gives us what we want. Now we have the range stacked up vertically, except for the last column there, last row rather, which doesn't have data, which you can say, oh, I can fix with a drop. But you can take advantage of one of the arguments of the text split, which is ignore empty. Since we know that's empty, we just put a 1 there and, we have it working. So that's the first way. You can then also use the reduce function. I like the reduce function, and like I've said in previous videos, whenever I have a situation where an array needs to expand, most times I think of the reduce function. This array here, it's not changing dimensions in the sense of it is still one column, but the point is the number of rows is increasing, right? Because I start off with, 1 column, 3 rows, but what I need to end up with now maybe is 1 column, 12 rows. Okay, so in such a case, of course, you can think of expand, but it gets tricky to use it. But you can use, like I said in previous videos, reduce and make array. So let's use reduce, because this is simply a v-stack problem. It's just stacking the range on top of itself. But you don't want to start writing that when the person changes this to 5, you go and change your formula, remove the last one in the stack. No, you want to have it to be more elegant. So we can start up with the reduce. I can take my initial value, as the range itself. I can say this is where I'm going to start from, right? Then now, in terms of my array, what do I need as the array here? All I need really is, because it's a VStack problem, it's just I need something that will be a counter, an iterator that will allow this VStack to happen X number of times. So what I need as the X is the number of times it's repeating. So meaning that if it's repeating 3 times, I need my array to be 1, 2, 3. Just something that will force it to perform that VStack that number of times. So I can just in my array here use a sequence of whatever number I have here. Somebody is saying, oh, why are you not using a +1 here? That's because the initial value already has the range. So if that is already covered, then the number of times would make the mass add up. So this is like saying your B1, then +1. So that's it. Okay. So if I wasn't using this as my initial value, then yes, maybe I need to do this +1. Okay. So now that I have this, I go into the lambda portion of my formula. The first thing is the accumulator. The second is the iterator. Now I just do VStack. Somebody's expecting me to say VStack A. Yes, A in this case would be my range, which is the first value. Good. Now, the next thing is, what am I stacking my range up with? I'm stacking my range up with itself, but not called A, so to say. Well, I'm stacking the range up with itself. You may be expecting me to use B in my calculation, but B doesn't feature. B is just an iterator that allows this VStack to happen a certain number of times. So what I'm going to do here is that the B is 3. So it just means that this VStack would then happen 3 times. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to stack A with the range itself. Okay, so if you think about this, this is what's going to happen. The first time, A is going to be the range. Then it comes and it stacks with itself. That means you now have 2 copies of it. By the time the iterator has only used 1 value here. Then the next time the iterator is coming, the iterator has another value. You stack it again with itself. Now you have 3. Then the iterator goes again. You stack it again. Now you have 4. The iterator then looks, do I still have any value that I haven't iterated through? It says no, and it stops. So the B here, which is this sequence of B1, is just a counter allowing me to perform this VStack a certain number of times. Okay, close the lambda, close the reduce, and that's it. Okay, so I can see some consistency between the 2 methods. Okay, they're giving the same answers. So it's consistent, doesn't mean it's correct, but well, it's good that it's consistent. Let's expand and let's see the next one. The next one is if you want to expand it now to like a 2-dimensional range, which is like this in this case. So I would apply the same approach, which is using the Textjoin like I did, and also the reduce. So let's start with the Textjoin. So we take the Textjoin, we put a delimiter. You're familiar with this now from the first example. I skip that one, and then I choose, the range. Okay, here, and I close the bracket. Now you can see that here the challenge I have is that it's put it in one line. It would have been nice if in my Textjoin, right? And I've seen something tricky like that before. Okay, but let's leave that. Where in the Textjoin, you could actually have both a row and column delimiter. That would be nice, right? So that it will be clear. And when I'm doing my split, then I can, put that column delimiter, put the row delimiter, and that will work. Okay, so now I have this. I need to add, don't forget, a pipe at the end, just so that I don't get tripped off like last time. So once you have this, you can then use the repeat and say repeat a certain number of times. So we repeat, and this time, we repeat the number of times we have here +1 still. Okay, so now it's created one long string that has everything. So now we do a text split, and we have just one delimiter. So meaning that everything is just going to come into one column. But really think about it, the result we are expecting must have the same number of columns as the original array, meaning it must have 3 columns. It's just the number of rows that should change, but that's fine. Let's go here and let's do a text split. Here we are not going to use the column delimiter. We skip that, we go to the row delimiter, use a pipe, and okay, so now we have everything. The only issue here is that we have a redundant last row because of that pipe. So in this case, I can handle that, right? Can I? Using my text split, and I say ignore empty, right? Good. So now that I have this sorted, I can then use Wraprows. And when I use Wraprows, I'll just tell Wraprows to wrap this into 3 columns, meaning that you start picking the values one after the other. Once you get 3 columns, then you go to the next row, you go to the next row, and so on. So what I'm going to do is I take this and I'm going to do Wraprows around it. So Wraprows takes this one-dimensional array and is going to change it into a multi-column array. So I put a comma and then it says wrap count, meaning after how many columns. When you're using Wraprows, the wrap count means after how many columns do I go to the next row. Now I know the answer is 3 because my original range has 3 columns. But if you say, oh, Victor, don't hard code, then I could use the function, just say columns. How many columns do I have in the range? Whatever I have in the range, that's it. Okay, so whatever range I have, the number of columns will determine when it wraps. So you close, okay, and then you have this working. So if we change this now to 3, let's see, then you see that. So let's do the reduce equivalent of it, okay, using the 2-dimensional range. So I use the reduce. This is simple still. I pick the range as my initial value. Then for my array here, which is the number of times, that I really want to perform this operation, I do the same thing. I do my sequence of this, okay? That's that. Then I go into the function, which is the lambda. So I go into lambda, and then this is my accumulator, this is my iterator. The same thing. It's really the same logic as the first one. That's the beautiful thing about the reduce. For the text join, you notice I had to bring in Wraprows, but here I'm doing exactly the same thing. So v stack, a, which is the range with itself still. And the iterator there will tell it how many times it needs to go. So close this lambda, close the reduce. Okay, and now you see that we have the same, response. But why I like the reduce here is the fact that for the reduce, my expression, let me expand my formula bar. My expression is essentially the same as, for a one-dimensional array. So whether it's 1D or 2D, I'm doing exactly the same thing. I just give the range. Notice it. This is the range here, right? And this is the range here. Now, if you look at the one that I had in here, it's the same thing. I had the range as the initial value, and I had the range in here. Unlike the text join, where you had to do some things, some funky things in the 2-dimensional version as opposed to the first. So the reduce gives you an elegant version. I won't show make array in this one. It's a little maybe more complex setting it up, but very much doable. But I hope this gives you some idea of if you want to repeat a range a certain number of times for whatever problem it is you're trying to solve, these are just some ideas that you can use to get that working. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit the like button. You can also subscribe to the channel. Excel Moments. For now, I'm out.